I do miss William's advice.
Yeah, well, what was his best bit of advice he gave to you?
He met you and he said, run, Harry, run. She's a wrong un, but we went out to that restaurant and they left.
I don't know why they left. I mean, I didn't fart that loudly.
Can't ever wear the same color as Her Majesty if there's a group event. But then you also shouldn't be wearing the same color as one of the other more senior members of the family. So I was like, well, what's a color that they'll probably never wear? Camel, beige, white. So I wore a lot of muted tones.
I really wanted to relearn French. I had studied it for the 4 years in high school, and then it just went away.
I studied French for 8 years, and now it's deplorable. I can't remember anything, which...
As if we haven't suffered enough, tonight Netflix released a new trailer for another Harry and Meghan show.
What?
This is to be just as smug as the first
Oh
one.
God, no!
This was inspired
No.
by Nelson Mandela, who once said, "What counts in life is not the myth
What?
we have lived."
Stop!
Have you noticed that Harry and Meghan say an awful lot, but there really isn't much to back up their claims? This only hurts their narrative. They're focused very much on how they feel, but they're framing it in facts. They're framing it as these other people are to blame for their choices, other people are to blame for how they feel. They're taking no accountability, not even for how they feel or the emotions that they have had. Most of us can recognize that this is a really toxic behavior. People in our lives who take no accountability tend to be very stressful to be around. And there are things in Harry and Meghan's narrative that just don't add up, or that contradict things, or there's no concrete facts to back up their claims. And this tells us that they are not being authentic or genuine in their discussions. And it shows us just how toxic they really can be.
You know what? Sometimes I just run into a room and I scream and I run out. That's what I do. It's just, I call them screaming rooms. That's all I do in these rooms.
And I think it's perfectly reasonable to have 17 screaming rooms. It's just a kind of, you have your own suite, obviously, don't you? And then you have your screaming room.
That's what you have, yeah. When you go out with Ginge, you just need an outlet.
I mean,
look who's back again. It's Harry and Meghan.
It's really hard to look back on it now and go, what on earth happened?
Netflix have handed them another $100 million to whine and bitch about how hard done by they've been. Is that attention you ordered? Yes, the couple that just wants to be left alone.
Everyone has a right to their privacy.
It just wants to have their privacy respected.
This sort of incessant need to find out every little bit of detail about what goes on behind the scenes. The private life has to be private, and I hope people respect.
Just invited a camera crew to follow them around for months, intimately documenting their private lives.
The private life has to be private.
After the Oprah interview. The book, the podcast, the docuseries, they're about to file yet another instalment of their pity party public relations campaign.
It's about hatred. It's about race.
No, it isn't. In the same trailer, they play a clip of her being adored by the thousands of members of the public invited to be at their wedding. Oh my God, so hateful. It's got nothing to do with race and everything to do with people seeing right through your emotionally incontinent, phony victimhood con. Yeah, people dislike you, Meghan, not because of your ethnicity, but because of your personality and behaviour, and the fact that you hide behind your ethnicity to deflect from the fact that you're an insufferable grifter. It's really not rocket science. Oh, they were hounded by the press, just like Diana.
This feeding frenzy.
So hounded by the press that for this trailer they couldn't even find any footage of them being hounded by the press, and used a photo from a 2011 premiere of Harry Potter. The event took place 5 years before the Duke and Duchess even met. No members of the royal family were present. They also used a clip to illustrate how they're constantly harassed by the paparazzi. And the footage is actually taken from British celebrity Katie Price arriving in court last year over a drink driving charge. They flipped the video to try and make it look different from the original. And this one.
This feeding frenzy.
That's not Meghan, it's Catherine Middleton. Yeah, they're so hounded and harassed they can't even find one real example of it to put in their own trailer. Funny, isn't it, how Prince Harry gives UN speeches bootlicking for regime narratives about disinformation.
The few
weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many.
When the trailers for his Netflix show are chock full of disinformation.
It's a dirty game.
You don't say.
It's really hard.
Oh, they've struggled so much, their lives are just one great hardship to the next.
It's really hard.
Save me the crap. These twats live in a $15 million Montecito mansion. Spa, giant swimming pool, tennis courts, the lot. They're whining about their struggle from an uber luxury swank pad.
It's really hard.
While back home, people in Britain are shivering to the bone because they can't afford to pay the gas bill. Oh, it's so hard.
It's really hard.
There's a hierarchy of the family.
What? There's a hierarchy within the... Checks notes. Royal family? Say it ain't so. Next you'll be telling me the Pope's Catholic. Yeah, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, is he? Prince Harry is never gonna be king. But at least I guess he can console himself with the fact that he's king of the simps. Harry went from being a brave soldier fighting terrorists in Afghanistan.
It wasn't done in the wrong way, but it was just...
to being a sad, gelded little doormat who resigned from the royal family because she told him to. Charles's attitude towards the latest drama from the California-based couple has been described as one of weariness. Imagine throwing your own dad under a bus, the future King of England, just so you can pander to the whims of some grievance-grifting has-been washed-up actress. Then we've got to endure the constant comparisons to Princess Diana.
Pain and suffering of women marrying into this institution.
Someone who Meghan relentlessly tries to mimic, even down to wearing the exact same dresses and pulling the same contrived, manipulative, give me sympathy face. Then they show this clip of him in the car looking back.
I realized they're never going to protect you.
In the context of threats to Meghan's safety.
I was terrified. I didn't want history to repeat itself.
Copying this infamous shot of Diana in the car right before she died.
They're never going to protect you.
Absolutely shameless propaganda. I mean, look, what happened to Diana was dreadful. But come on, this posthumous rebranding of her as some angelic deity is a bit rich. At best, she was an attention-seeking neurotic mess. At worst, she deliberately set out to viciously destroy the royal family at every available opportunity. So yeah, her and Meghan do have a lot in common, don't they? I'm not even much of a royalist. I think Charles's rampant climate change hysteria is disgusting. But good God, I'll take the monarchy any day of the week over these pretentious, sanctimonious crybabies. You'd think they'd have a lot in common with Charles, after laboriously lecturing us about climate change year after year.
Our world is on fire. Again. And this crisis will only grow worse.
Harry and Meghan took another private jet trip over the weekend. Then they took another private jet yesterday so Meghan could pick up an anti-racism award. They're so arrogant, they literally take private jets after speaking at celebrity climate change events.
And this crisis will only grow worse.
Yeah, presumably it won't worsen to the point where Harry has to give up his $6.5 million luxury Cessna 680 Citation Sovereign.
And this crisis will only grow worse.
Yeah, it's such a crisis. You might have to sacrifice your annual family holiday. While this pair of clowns browbeating you about it once took 4 private jet trips in the space of just 11 days.
We know the full truth.
Meanwhile, Meghan Markle's Spotify podcast just wrapped up its final episode. Archetypes. Don't believe the type. Don't believe the hype, more like. What an abject failure. It's been on YouTube for 3 months. She hasn't even cracked 1,000 subscribers. Some of the video views are in the low hundreds. After all that media attention garnered by her incessant complaining, some idiot gave her $32 million to produce this futile flop. The podcast's been nominated for a People's Choice Award. What people? Just like the Anti-Racism Award, it's another fake title that elitists bestow on each other so they can feign contrived beneficence. The Duchess of Sussex dives into the labels that try to hold women back. Fuck me, who's holding you back? You were given tens of millions of dollars to produce a podcast. You're aided by the promotional juggernaut that is Spotify. Giant billboards in Times Square. You're joined by A-list guests with social media followings in the hundreds of millions. And still, no one's fucking interested in a word you have to say. Your podcast gets fewer listeners than the 12-hour sound loop sleep aid. Oh shit, people aren't paying attention. Better start fake crying again.
Oh, you guys, I love that last guy so much. He's Can't Speak the Truth on TikTok. If you have that, be sure to give him a follow. Check him out. Thank you so much for watching. The response has been unbelievable to my Harry and Meghan videos, so I hope you enjoyed this one as well. I've been posting a lot of Friends lately, but a lot of you guys keep requesting more of these, so here we are. Also, I do know that they have that dreadful new series coming out New Year's Eve, so I plan to react to that. Look out for that. And, of course, Harry's book, Spare, comes out January 10th, so you better believe I'll be reacting to that as well. Thanks so much for being here. Be sure to leave comments below, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.